Are you serious? Oh, my goodness! Glorious and free! We're storming the 18th green now. They just tackled Adam Hadwin, by the way, who was trying to approach his friend. Security did, not knowing that's exactly who it was. But Canada has a conquering hero.
Wow, how about that as I take a big drag off my douche flute. Hello, Nick Taylor. He is your new RBC champion, RBC Open champion, the Canadian Open, and joining me to discuss that which was incredible. It was one of the greatest moments in Canadian golf history. Two men who were there, two men who lit the world on fire, a couple of guys who lit up the media tent. We're going to talk about media. We'll talk about the RBC Canadian Open. We're going to talk about a bunch of other stuff, Benfica, et cetera, et cetera. But what a day for Nick Taylor. What a day for Canada. And, of course, it's great to be here. Joining me today, we're mixing it up a little bit. How about Chris Rooke, rookie, who's our head of production? He was there. As you can tell, he got the free media hat, so he's really excited. I know you didn't pay for that. I know it came in a grab bag, which is great. And we've got Mr. Griff. Griff was also there, and Griff is the guy who, with Chris, became the stars of the show with Nick Taylor at the Canadian Open. It's good to see you guys. So how was that? Like, take me through that. And I don't know where you guys want to start because we got credentialed for the RBC Canadian Open. Is the first Canadian to win a Canadian Open in the last 69 years. 69. I thought that was funny, too. But like, get to it. Like, what was that vibe like? Who do we start with, Chris or Griff? Who we start with?
Griff, take it away, bud.
Take me through it, Griff. It was basically, this all started last Monday for me when I was at the gym and I get an email from Chris saying like, "Hey, do you want to work the Canadian Open?" And I like jumped at the opportunity. I didn't want to, like, I waited a bit to respond to the email because I'm like, I don't want to seem like right away. Yes, but in my head right away, I'm like, yeah, let's go, let's do it. I didn't know what to expect going into it. First time being credentialed for such a huge event like this. But being there, we're going to fast forward. Thursday, Friday, Saturday were all great days. And even Sunday was a great day. But when it came down to that playoff hole, and even with the eagle putt, I remember I was standing next to James Duffy of TSN and basically looked at him and I'm like, I think he's going to make this. Just like out of gut feeling, out of gut reaction. Like, you don't know what to expect. Yeah. And then hit record. I felt bad because at first when I panned a little bit too quickly, I caught back up to the ball, and then it's just still, it's more than what happened. It's just the fact that I can look on my phone and there's the ball rolling into the hole, and the second it drops in the hole, the Oakdale, the 18th hole, like, it's not even just like the crowd erupted, the media erupted. Yeah. Obviously, golfers getting speared or gored like Rhino or Edge. Shout out to all the wrestling fans out there. But yeah, like, you have Corey Connors going crazy, Mike Weir. Bob Weeks even admittingly just let out a loud yell when it happened. There was a guy standing right next to me as Adam was talking to Amanda Renner from CBS, and media fully credentialed started bawling his eyes out because a lot of people who have been vastly in the golf community know how big a deal of what happened this is. And I know I've seen some people already saying it's up there with like Crosby's goal, Carter's home run, Kawhi's shot. It's a moment.
Mike Weir winning the Masters too. They're talking about that all the time.
Exactly.
Like, and you were fucking there for it. Pardon my language. I'm going to try not to swear in this podcast.
Like, dead center. It's not even like that we were there. We were inside the ropes, which shout out to Rookie because he got the last inside the rope. So with our credentials, you had to get a little pink sticker that basically allowed you to get into the actual ropes themselves. And yesterday they're being really stingy on that. So because of that pink sticker, we literally had front row access. We were standing right underneath the 18th camera tower when it all went down.
Oh my God. First of all, I had no idea we were credentialed for the RBC Canadian Open until you started like filing reports from it. And I'm like, I guess Griff's at the RBC Canadian Open. But like, in terms of what it took to get those credentials, no big deal apparently, because Chris is one of those guys that just has like a silver tongue. He just walks away into these things. He's like, hey, we got a couple people there. But as far as experiences go, you go from, I don't know what you were doing 10 days ago, you find yourself inside the ropes. And then after this 72-foot putt drops, which is an eagle on 18 on the 4th playoff hole for Canadian Nick Taylor, big balls Nick Taylor, then all of a sudden the mayhem started, right? Like that's when you and Crier Media went viral. Take me through that. So because Adam Hadwin he got absolutely fisted by a security guard, and it's the story of the year right now.
Yeah, I'll let Rookie handle this one.
All right.
Yeah, so Griff, we had our marching orders. Griff was filming the putt and the winner, and he knew he was focused on that, and I was sort of focused on the outside atmosphere and sort of what was going on. And basically when he hit the putt and everybody stormed the green, we had to like take a pause, and we're like, are we allowed to be doing this? Can we just run onto the green? Then you had a bunch of the drunk fans try and get on too, and everybody from the stands try to get on, and they stopped them. But honestly, I had my phone rolling to try and catch the scene, and then literally to the left of the screen, I just see somebody get tackled, and we all thought it was just a streaker or somebody coming in to like try and hug Corey Connors, not Corey Connors, Nick Taylor.
Yeah.
And basically, we were in the scrum. Everybody said, Adam Hadwin got tackled by the security. And everybody was like, who has the video? Who has the video? And I tapped Griff on the shoulder. I said, I got it. And he said, put that on Twitter right now. So I was standing there in the scrum with like zero service because of the sort of cell phone log jam, waiting for this thing to load. And our phones were like, 5% each at this point? Like we were really like at the low end of our phones. So I'm like, is this going to upload? What's going to happen? It uploaded. I put my phone in my pocket. We covered the rest of it. And then once I got back to the media tent, I looked and we already had 450,000 views on it. And NBC Sports retweeted it, Barstool, Sportsnet, Tim McAuliffe, Callaway Golf, DraftKings, who else? Like every single person who's somebody in the media tweeted it out and credited us for it. So that's pretty much how that went down.
Yeah,
like, right place, right time, right?
Well, that's what I saw. Like, it's funny because I saw, like, you can do this thing where you tweet videos, right? Like, you guys right place, right time, but you put in the work. Like, you're inside the ropes, you had the pink sticker and all that stuff. Do you have the video? Can we play the video? Okay,
yes,
let's watch it. So this is you recording it. This is property of Crier Media, TM. Just in case anybody wants to put it. Oh. My God. So take me through that. Like you're watching it. How did you get, like, did you see what was going on there, Chris? Or was it like, it was like, I just got it. Like, well, how did that happen?
That was probably like 15 seconds. 15 seconds after he won. So it's chaos on the green. Like people are running, cameras are running, flashing. We're trying to figure out where to go, where we can be. The PGA officials are shouting, looking for the pink pass on the credentials to like kick people off the green, not to crowd it. So I have another video here, which was just after the body check.
Yeah. And
you can see Adam Hadwin walk right in front of me, but I'm too concerned with going to get the winner that I walked right past him. And I just was telling Griff today, I'm like, I should have like realized what happened and been like, hey, you okay, man? Like, you all good? But here's the video basically following the tackle as we sort of surround Nick.
That looks great.
And that's Adam right there after getting tackled. with the Moet bottle still in his hand.
Yeah.
Too.
So Hadwin's whole goal was he was trying to get to Nick Taylor just to squirt him with a little champagne, right? It's like a little celebration.
Full champagne shower.
Yeah. And how long did it take from the second that he won? Like, how close did Adam Hadwin get to Nick Taylor before he got the full Goldberg spear?
I'd say like 2 to 3 feet, honestly.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he was like right there.
Come on.
Yeah. Like he
2
was
to 3
at
feet.
him.
He got that close. So like that. Listen, the security guy kind of did his job though, right? Like he had no idea who that dude was.
Everybody was saying the security guard thought he made the play of the year, and then he realized that it was Adam Hadwin because he had his hood on. He didn't have a necklace. All the Golf Canada guys were in basically a circle where they walk out.
Mm-hmm.
And then he had the champagne. You could see in like other videos that were released today, they were planned and had the champagne ready to go. And then there's a slow-mo version that I wrote a blog today saying that the slow-mo version should be hung in the Louvre because it is all time.
It's that awesome.
Yeah, just like it is like one of the best videos I have
was
ever
he
seen.
Hurt? Griff, did you see it? Like, do you know anything about the state he was in? Because he got fucking, pardon my language again, he got hammered. Like he got pounded. You can see it coming up here. Here he comes, and the security guy comes around, and boom. Was he hurt? Did you see him get up? Like, how was he after?
I'll take this one. So I spoke to him briefly afterwards because I saw him on the fairway, and I just looked at him. I said, "Buddy, on the fairway in the green, excuse me." I was like, "Buddy, are you okay?" And he just kind of nodded his head at me, and then seemed like he was fine. And then also too, his wife Jessica Hadwin started tweeting out too that he's fine. And then he was on a plane last night, so I assume right now he's somewhere in the greater Los Angeles area, if not at the Los Angeles Country Club, which folks who don't know, that's where the U.S. Open is happening this week. Kind of a big deal, but yeah. So he I feel like it's gonna be one of those things, like in the moment you're fine, but I wouldn't be shocked if this morning if he woke up, maybe a little bit of a sore back or like maybe bit of a headache, something like that. Like when you hurt yourself and it's like, oh, I'm fine, and then the adrenaline wears off and that's when the pain kicks in. That it may be one of those situations.
I'm watching this video of the security guy do his job. And wouldn't he think that just some dude just can't get on the green with a champagne bottle?
It was also, I'm pretty sure it was Dom. I don't think it was cheap champagne either. So that's the other big thing that they should have paid attention to. I remember someone specifically saying, I'm pretty sure Dom Perignon.
Yeah,
that was just an all-time brain fart from the security guy. Can you imagine him going home today, like last night, going, I don't know. I think I almost killed Adam Hadwin today. I just totally took him out on the green. What's amazing was the access that you guys had, like you being on the green. That was incredible. Like even in video, like you guys being on the green. What was after that happened? What was the media tent like?
Basically a mix of what the crowd like. Everyone was still shocked. Everyone was still in disbelief. Pretty much waiting for Nick to come in because he got to speak to the media. Basically, when he spoke to the media, he spoke to them from within there. And pretty much my thing was like a bit of like a euphoric state, but also too, part of me was just like, I still got a job to do and I wanted to get my article out as soon as possible and plus do all the videos that I had just to get them online and everything like that. And the other highlight too is with the media tent. I actually lost Chris on the way back. And I looked to my right and I was walking back side by side with Mike Weir. So that was a pretty cool moment as well. And it's also cool because I actually didn't share this, but I saw a friend of his on the other side of the barricade. And it's one of those things where they look over and they're like, dude, what the fuck? And I'm like, yeah, I'm here. Like even Saturday, the highlight of the weekend besides Taylor for me was Saturday. I was following Corey Connors because he was in contention. And I'm on the 18th green and not 18th green, but like on the fairway walking up towards the green. And some dude shouts like, oh, they think they're better than us and it's because of the past. And I'm like, his friend literally looks at him and they're like, they're better than us. They're on that side of the rope for a reason. Like they are better than us. So that's like one of the media stories that I have where it's just like, you get the pass on you. And that's, I'm like, hey, if I'm on this side of the ropes, it means I did something right to get here. And you spent hundreds of dollars to be here. And like I said before, drink. Here's the other thing with the alcohol too. Sleeman Clear for like $13 a can as well. And so like not good beer for not good price. I had a free one last night and for free, it tasted pretty good.
Yeah. Was stuff expensive there this year, fellas?
Yeah. Big time.
Dude, they haven't had one in like a couple of years because of the pandemic. So they're like, we got to recoup some costs. Let's charge $15 for some water.
They had a keg tent. They had like a keg pop up at the bottom of the hill. So you can go and have dinner at the keg.
That kind of keg?
Yeah.
Oh, you're kidding.
I don't think they had like full steak and stuff like that. I think it was like a lot of like their sandwiches and like burgers and stuff like that. But I imagine it wasn't cheap. Chris and I did visit the merch shop on Thursday, and most stuff was like what you standardly get. Like, I got a hat. I got like a shirt for like $40 a hat for like another 30. And then like I got a ball marker and cap, like a little ball marker that I can put in a hat clip for like another 15. So it was like 100 something that I spent. But it's like one of those things, it's like you go to a concert, you go to an event, you're prepared to spend it. It's just when I saw the Cottage Springs for what it was, I was like, yeesh.
Vodka soda, Cottage Springs vodka soda. How much at the Canadian Open?
$11 for
That's
one.
good. You can get a 6-pack for 10. That's awesome.
And it's not even fizzy. It's the gross one that's just mixed with water and tastes disgusting. They didn't even have the carbonated one. I hate myself, because I bought this tumbler here.
Yeah.
let's play over under. On how much is
$80.
Griff? Well, Griff, do you remember?
I don't remember, but I'm gonna go under.
It is $70.
$70 for
like a polo was going for $100.
Yeah. Well, listen, here's the thing. Like, golf isn't a poor person's sport, right? Dude. So anybody that can afford tickets to go to the Canadian Open and stand there, they have money to burn on tumblers for $70 and hoodies for $100, right?
Yeah. It's just with the polos, I'm like, for one, I don't need a polo. Like, I thought it'd be cool. Like, if a polo was like 70, I would have done it. But then for $100, I'm like, I could go to Winners and buy like 3 of these for the same price. So I'll wait and do that.
Yeah, exactly. I've saved my money. Can I ask you a question about media? So like, we're the upstart there, right? Crier Media, we're the upstart.
Yeah.
We got 2 of the most dynamic people there. We had the only viral video from the whole thing. You guys are inside the ropes. Did you get did you get any chiselers from like TSN or Sportsnet? Did you get anybody going, what are you guys doing here? Is that Blundell's crap again? What are you guys up to? Did you get that? Anybody? Hands up. Yeah, Chris, you got it? What'd you get? What'd you get from people? You get people bad-mouthing us? You get people going, you have no business being here. Yeah, clearly.
No, I saw Mark Zecchino, and we're cool with Mark.
Oh, Zach. Yeah, he's the best.
And I said, hey, Mark, great job. He had his little PGA radio thing on. Yeah. I said, Dean says hi. And he did like a double take. And he's like, yeah, we're here with Dean. He's like, oh, is he here? I'm like, no, he's not here. He doesn't like crowds. So
that's true. Home. Yeah, that's true.
And then the Sportsnet guys were pretty cool. We didn't see any of the like bigger Sportsnet people. Just like, I guess their socials team, or the guy sitting in front of us. I feel like CBS and TSN and Sportsnet have their own area. And the media tent is for everybody else. Because I didn't see like the Duffys and the people until we were on 18. I didn't see them in the tent. I don't know if you did, Griff. You were there longer than I was.
I saw them in the tent all weekend. They were literally sitting parallel. So basically, our row was about 4 or 5 back, and our row, it was the communications team from Golf Town. They were at the very back next to the PGA communications team. It was like the people doing like the press conference feeds and everything like that. And then Crier, and then Golf Channel was right next to us. And then on the other side was TSN, and Sportsnet was right in front of us. Did some digging, and the 2 guys from Sportsnet were the producer for Kipper and Bourne, their radio show on 590, and then another guy from 590 as well who does cover golf as well. I got to know them because we were following Fitzpatrick around on Saturday. But no, Duffy, Weeks, and Dillette were sitting right at the TSN spot all weekend long. It was more CBS that I didn't see Nance at all, and I didn't see Nance at all, not in the booth. And then I only saw Amanda Renner on Sunday.
Were they nice? Were people the media? Were everybody was nice to you? Because that's my concern, right? As the guy that ushers this stuff, I'm like, yeah, because I talked to Chris this morning, and he was telling me about Duffy and how they had a nice little conversation. And I'm like, were they nice to you? He's like, oh, everybody was very nice to us. So I'm like, okay, I'm just making sure everybody's being nice to my guys. That's the only thing I care about. Go ahead, Griff. You're going to say something.
Yeah, mine started because with Sportsnet, I got to speak to someone actually pretty big. I spoke to, what's his name? It's the main golf guy, not Zecchino. It's someone else from Sportsnet. What's his name?
No clue.
Maybe Adam Stanley. Adam Stanley, maybe his name. I'm blanking on him right now. Yeah, him. Yeah. I got to speak to him, and he was cool. And the other one, too, was actually Raptors radio play-by-play guy for 590, Paul Jones, who I quickly learned is a big golf fanatic. And I saw him literally every day of the tournament. It started because him and I were on the same bus on Thursday to go to the media center. So he wasn't covering the event, but because he's media, he still gets in the tent. And even still, I love the flex on – I was telling him how I saw him because the Jays game last Tuesday, not the one where Manoa's last start happened and they got absolutely smoked, but Tuesday night he was there, and then he was saying even how for that he just calls a couple people and it's yeah, here are your tickets, you go. And I'm just damn. And he even got to go into the suite because I think Fleetwood threw out the first pitch that I had to meet him, and quickly learned that he's a golf fanatic and talked about just the world of NBA and golf and stuff like that. Bob Weeks I spoke to briefly. The only people I didn't get to speak to that I would have liked to speak to, just because I'm a bit of a fan of the show, was the Overdrive guys. But as to coin Chris's term, I didn't want to be a jock sniffer at all. So, and at the same time too, I had friends texting me in the group chat yesterday being like, Griff, how are you not like freaking out or like doing everything? And I'm like, I keep that internally, and externally I just present a professional demeanor. And even last night, Duffy, after Chris left, Duffy and I were sharing a laugh because he didn't mention me by name, but he basically mentioned just me as the guy he was standing next to on 18th green, which I like took as a, hey, James Duffy knows me by face, which is a pretty cool thing as well.
Yeah. He's a great guy too. If you've ever met James, he's a wonderful dude, super nice, a lot of time for people. And it was nice because you guys both have two nice James Duthie stories, right? Like Rooke, you ran into him. He was really nice to you too, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was awesome. And we kind of just shot the shit about, what was happening. He had his phone out, basically following the playoff holes with the earbuds in to figure out what was going on. So he was telling us that, because it rained, the screens above us froze. So we had no idea what was going on until the balls landed near the green. Mm-hmm. So he was there with his phone basically saying, like it landed in a divot and he's doing this and this is going to happen here. So he was kind of giving us his play-by-play. But I saw him on Thursday as I was leaving, and, you just stop by and you say hi because he's notable. And he was like, oh, who are you guys here with? And I said, oh, we're with Crier Media and, Dean Blundell. And he was just very complimentary about what we were doing and just our sort of no holds barred attitude. He actually mentioned like a Barstool light.
Light or like?
Light, like not as bro-ish, but he's like, you guys just do your own thing. And I love that you just say whatever you want and just don't you guys do a great job. And I was like, wow. First of all, he knows, which is super cool right away. But like Griff said, you have to kind of be professional and just thank you very much.
Was it weird not fanboying for you guys? Because listen, Griff, that was your first foray into, and keep in mind, I've broadcast from the Canadian Open several times. Like I've done my morning show from the Canadian Open. I know some of the guys. So for me, it's like, it's cool. And the first time I was there, it was cool. I think I might've been hungover as well, but it's neat, but it doesn't have the same panache. And it's not like it's lost on me that you got to experience a PGA Tour event in your hometown, but take me through that experience. Like, what were you feeling? Because you have, this is your first, like Chris Rooke a few years ago had literally a cam up Rory's rear end. So he's been literally, he was told, hey, you can't be in here. He's like, I don't know. I'm just following Rory with a camera. But what was it like for you as an experience, Griff? Take me through that, because I love this stuff.
Well, like Chris being told not to do something on Thursday, I decided. So basically, Thursday we were at the rink for a lot of the time, hole 14. It's like a light version of what you get at the 16th hole at the Waste Management. If you don't know what it is, Google it. But most sports fans should know what it is. And I got caught on TV, and the PGA people did not exactly like that. They're basically telling me like the only rules apparently no on the tee box, no on the green. When there was people lined up, it's just. I was lined up there like when actually I think it was don't know if it was Hadwin, but it was Mackenzie Hughes and Severson for sure were on there. But that's my big experience. But I basically kind of put the fanboy hat away just because I was treating this as like a chance to get exposure and a tryout, and not just a chance for like me to. I didn't want to like come off as like this like whole like, oh my God, I'm here, I'm just there. I'm like, I'm trying to like leave a footprint, and I did.
Was it hard? Was it hard to do that? Was it hard to like put away like fanboy Griff and go to like stringer Griff, reporter Griff?
Not really, just because with golf, I am a golf fan, but I'm not like a golf fanatic, where I'm like, I don't know. Like there were some guys, I'll be honest with you, I did not exactly know who they were until like I saw them. And now it's kind of like, hey, opening the door. But then it's kind of like, you just like kind of look at these guys where it's like, these guys are just like us, but they're gifted and they're amazing golfers. That's the way I looked at it. But no, sometimes you just know, look, you're here to do a job, you buckle down and you do it. But the other thing I want to do quickly is just give a quick shout out, because as we were talking there with media, there was one guy, Chris, I don't know if you remember him. He was the guy with the big camera lens I was standing right next to for a good portion of the day. He's from a small, because I was basically explaining to him our company, we basically both understanding each other. His name's Jelani Morgan. He's the photo director for a small company called West End Phoenix. And basically the way him and I were looking at it is, look, like we exchanged social medias, but he also followed Crier, and then I also got West End Phoenix's media, because we're just the same thing, just two small end media people who are just trying to make it in this industry. So just want to give a quick shout out to them, because at the same time too, for as many times I could have been a fanboy, I just decided, you know what, I'm going to leave a mark just because you don't know when you're going to do business again. And also I didn't want to go being like leaving a bad impression on anyone because like I said, you never know what doors can open.
Yeah, dude, totally. I mean, you comported yourself well. You know what that word reads? Comport. You know what that means? You handled yourself well. Yeah. I'm just making sure. You're a young guy. I'm old. I know a bunch of words you might not. That's why I'm trying to say you comport yourself really well. But you were phenomenal. You were like unbelievable. And it's funny because Chris said we went viral. I go on our Twitter account, and it was you guys that did the work, and you represented yourselves and Crier so incredibly well. I've talked to two people that you guys actually dealt with this weekend, both in media. I'll tell you who they are after. They both said, yeah, you guys were awesome. They did a great job, really respectful, all that stuff. And part of me was like, that's a shame. I wish they would have done something stupid at least once. Like, I wish you would have gotten like at the end of last year's Canadian Open when Rory won. I think it was like 2-3 years ago. Chris is like standing there as this guy leaves the stage, and he's like, hey, dude, you want a shotgun a beer? He's like, he starts laughing at Chris. He's like, nah, I got a flight to catch, but thank you. I appreciate it. It was fun to watch. Okay, so after everything settles down, you get the video. And I want to go back to the video. Was everybody like grabbing you guys to try to to try and grab the video from you? Like, take us through the kind of media portion, like the scrum after, not just the putt that you caught, obviously, but Adam Hadwin getting deep sixed by a security guy.
There was some panic. There was not panic, but you could tell there were rumblings of who, because for us, we're on the go.
A big WTF.
Yeah, we're using our phones. We're uploading it to social in real time. Yet all the big boys, the TSNs, the Sportsnets, have to go back to their trucks and get that footage. But yeah, the footage might be better and in 4K, but they're not doing that for an hour or two. Yeah. So everybody's kind of scrambling, trying to figure out who got it, where is it, and how can we get it. And then people on the bus ride back, actually, they're like, oh, you guys were the guys that posted it and got it. And I was like, yeah, here's the source video on my phone. And it was an accident. I can't even say I meant to do it. I just started recording to run onto the green and happened to get it in frame. And was like,
so it was a total accident.
Yeah, 100%.
Because after you were dealing with that. I honestly was this close to when Amanda Renner and Nick Taylor were talking. I was basically just trying to get as many shots as I can. And I tweeted a lot of them. I got some really good photos of Taylor talking to the media, whether it was him, Zucchino, and even Bob Weeks of TSN. So
yeah, I got a video of that.
That was just the thing. I was more focused on getting to Taylor. And then as to answer the question from earlier about going on the green, it was kind of not a lead by example, but a follow the leader, where it was kind of I see other people doing it. So I'm like, all right, fucking, I'm going to do it. That's part of my plan. Like Dean, I'm not trying not to swear, but yeah, that's just it's kind of that logic, where it's hey, you see other people doing it, I'm going to go do it too.
But dude, but there's fear there, right? You start a new gig, you go there, were you scared at all, or did you just have to tamp that down, or did you find your balls? What happened?
I feel like me and Griff talked about it before. We were we just have to have the confidence to just do it. If somebody tells us to turn back around and frig off, then we can do it. But just act like you've been there before. Walk onto that green, start recording your phone, and get to the action, because there's no real rules at that point. It's just everybody's trying to get the best shot and the best camera and the best photo. And to Griff's credit, he was right there with the surrounding cameras with the massive lenses, and then Griff with his cell phone, tall Griff above everybody getting the best shot.
Is Griff tall? I've never met him. How tall is he?
Yeah.
About 6'2".
Yeah.
You're 6'2"? You're a big kid?
Yeah.
You're a big cat? You the big cat? Were you the big cat this last weekend? The big cat?
Yeah, I was trying to be. The other thing with that too, with the game plan, was just more or less, like I said, until the PGA communications people kind of told me to buzz off from actually going on to the green. So basically, the only rules were don't go on the actual green, don't go on the tee box. Basically, it's kind of stay out of the sight of the cameras. Even CBS actually, I don't know if I told you this, Chris. CBS talked to me on Friday about that as well, basically, because I guess some people in the truck were like, who's that guy on 14, and yada yada yada. So that's why I was kind of confined to the hill for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But I compared it to kind of when you're younger and you're basically
CBS was like, hey, we don't want that guy there. Is that what they said?
Well, so that's the rule. Is basically, so there's the big cameras, the real big ones. Yeah. And the rule across all media is don't get in CBS's shot. Don't get in the broadcast. Whatever you do. Behind it, in front of it. Don't get into the broadcast. So then, because then the truck radios to the PGA people radio, like it's quick. They'll get to you right away and be like, you were just in that shot. So we're going to have to ask you to not be in that shot.
I just put my tail between my legs and just basically said sorry.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's all you do. Did you see Jim Nantz? I saw him high-fiving people in a golf cart. You see Jimmy Nantz? No one saw Jimmy Nantz?
No, we wanted to, but like
I would have cried.
I think afterwards it was just like kind of get back to the media. Like my thing was kind of like I was like in laser vision to get back to the media center, and then basically nearly shitting my pants asking Nick Taylor about the fans at the tournament, which
I got that one too. You want to see it? You want to see?
Yeah,
Griff
I do. I totally want. Yeah, I want to see Griff in the media tent talking to Nick Taylor. Do you got it?
Let's watch it. I got it.
All right, let's see it. Here we go.
Hey, Nick, congratulations on winning. Just wanted to ask you, what did it mean to have the whole fans on every single hole, and especially during the playoffs in 18 and 9? What did that mean to you? Just know that not only the whole nation behind you, but everyone here at the golf course as a whole.
It was the most incredible atmosphere I've ever been a part of, and it's not even close. I think even walking to the first tee today, walking to the first green, there's ovations on every single team green. When Tommy would miss and they'd cheer, I kind of felt bad for him, but I knew just how pumped they were, and they're trying to put every ounce of energy into it to help me pull it through. And to have that moment, I'd say I blacked out when that ball went in with Dave. So I'm curious to watch that, what we did. I don't remember what we did, but that was an incredible moment.
Heather went towards the back on the right.
All right. Can I give you a little tutelage there? Griff,
sure.
Next time you go to a golf tournament for us, which is going to be very soon, I think, because you were incredible at it, like really, really good. And you go and ask a question. You have to start with your name and your media outlet.
No one else was doing that, by the way.
Nobody did it.
No one did.
I don't care. That's because they're losers. We're winners. Winners do what winners do. Losers don't. You guys were the winners at the Canadian Open this year. You had the most viral video from the Canadian Open this year, like millions and millions and millions of views. So when you go up there, I want you to big deck it. That's what I want you to do. I want you to go. Yeah, Griff Bourdon, Crier Media. Question for me, Griff. I want you to really establish it. Like maybe do it once or twice. Be egregious about it because why not? But if nobody else was doing it, maybe you shouldn't have. That's what I would have done, though, because I'm a bit of a troublemaker, Griff.
So about that, are you going to come to Ancaster next year? Are you going to make your appearance with Crier Media back at the Canadian Open?
No.
I guess this would have been the biggest one ever, and you weren't there. So why would you come to the next one?
No, I will. You know what it is? Honest to God, and I'm sure you saw it, right? I've been to 10 of these things. And so knowing that you guys were there and you're way better at this stuff than me, I'm that guy that goes to those things. It's like, there's so many people and they're walking around. They all want to talk to you. And you're like, yeah, it's great. Great. And I just want to go to something like that and watch the golf. I want to watch the golf. But I know next year we're going to have to go because you guys were the darlings of the show. And we're going to have to make an appearance at things and introduce people. But I'll tell you, the one thing that I really hate, one thing that I was really afraid of if I go to those things, that every single year I run into Steve Simmons. Every single year. And it's I get filled with rage. He was only there Thursday?
Yeah, he was.
Did you guys see him? Anybody run into him?
Yes,
Chris
I did.
engineered a bus from the parking lot over to the golf course.
What happened? What
happened I showed up late, and I was standing in the parking lot, kind of with my head down, had my ear pods in, and the parking lot. So first and foremost, Oakdale was a beautiful golf course, but quite a weird spot for the Canadian Open, if I'm going to be honest. A little bit annoying to get to, and the surrounding area was interesting, to say the least. And even the Golf Channel ladies were like, is this Toronto? We're like, no, please don't think that this is Toronto.
Where's our hotel, by the way, Chris?
Airport. Right by the airport. So they can just get out as quick as possible. They're like, we've seen the airport, and we've seen Downsview. Is this Toronto? I'm like, no, it's not. So I had my head down at the media tent, and then all I hear is a voice go, "Could the parking lot be any further away?" And I look, and I look up, and I was like, "Oh,
you know who it is?" I can tell. You wouldn't even need to tell me. Someone asked a question like that, not grateful to be there, total waste of space, huge loser. He's like, I don't want to cover my 30th Canadian Open. Steve Simmons is the worst reporter in history, and he's an even worse human being. One of the worst human beings you've ever met. So continue. He starts by complaining. Yes. What's next?
he said, could the parking lot be any further away? I thought that it would be better to. Why is it here? How can we get here? Glen Abbey's a pain in the ass to get to, but this is also a pain in the ass to get to. And I was like, yeah, man, like it's pretty far away. It's like a 17-minute bus ride. And then he's like, so who are you with? And then I had like a 5-second moment of thinking of all of Dean and Steve's beef, and I just went, the website.
You bailed?
But then I did a little bit of an insult. Yeah. I said, how about you? You know what he said? Newspaper. And I said, great talk, bud.
Did you tell him nobody reads newspapers anymore and everybody reads websites now?
I just went, oh, cool, man.
Yeah. But think about that. Like, he starts the thing complaining. He's just complaining, right? Go ahead, Griff.
I only saw him speak to one person the entire time he was there, and that was Feschuk from the Star, who I spoke to for like briefly, but he was like Dave Feschuk was really nice, but literally the only conversation I literally sent it. I sent it to my friend, basically being like, "Oh, here's Dave Feschuk and a complete doofus." So I'm just like,
was he nice? Was he nice?
Feschuk was cool. Feschuk was cool.
Yeah, those are two of the most reviled people in media, sports media in this country.
I also feel like they just cover everything.
Yeah, that's because they'll do anything for money. Like they'll do anything. Feschuk, they probably said to him, "Hey, go cover the Canadian Open." He's like, "No." It's like, "We'll give you $100." He's like, "Okay."
Ooh,
yeah,
all right.
And Steve Simmons, like, I mean, that guy is like, he shouldn't be covering dog races. Like, that's how terrible of a writer he is, on top of being a terrible person. But to that point, think about the dichotomy here, right? Griff, you show up, you got passes, you're just happy to be there. You get there early and you spend the whole day there taking pride in your work. Did you complain about how far anything was or how expensive Cottage Springs were? Did you complain about it?
No, I didn't. Basically, my days were Thursday, I was there from pretty much about 9 to 6, I'd say Thursday and Friday. And then Saturday, I was there from like 11 till 8. And then yesterday, I was there from what time did I get out of the media center? I just gotta look at my phone quickly because Chris called me, and there was when Chris called me, that was yesterday. I was there yesterday pretty much for about 10 hours.
Yeah. Did you complain once about how hot it was, or the rain, or the parking lot, or like people? Did you complain about anything, or were you just really excited to cover a great event and have a great time?
That's what I was. I was excited just to be there, to have passes and just to witness history. And even at the same time, too, with the phone, I should also mention this. I've been on a bit of a bad knee for a few weeks now, and it's really started to act up on Friday. So I was soldiering through that. But before the playoff hole began, my phone was at 2%. So what did I do? I had to rush back to the media center, grab my portable charger, and then, Chris, my charger's now fried because it was in the rain for so long. Like, I tried charging my phone with it. I tried charging my phone with it when I got home, and nothing. So yeah, that one charger's cooked. But I was happy to be there. And even with the rain too, like, I was looking around and saying to people, I'm like, we've been witness history. I'm like, a little water's not going to kill anyone. Like, it was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like
the media started complaining during the playoff holes because it was raining.
Are you serious?
There was a television hand from CBS that was covering me, so I was good.
Yeah. Oh my God. What are we gonna do? Somebody get a cover for our cameras. This is the worst.
Is that what they were saying?
But the people from like Golf Channel and CBS were prepared. Like, all their camera people were in like full on rain suits. Like this. Like, I was looking around at them like, this isn't their first rodeo.
Well, of course not. They actually give a crap. Like, and here's the thing is that they're like, they know what they're there to do. Like, Canadian media is very different, specifically sports media in Canada. They're like, hey, how can we cheaply cover this? Right. CBS is like, how can we make this look fantastic? And how can we prepare for this? Sorry, Griff, go ahead. I know you want to say something.
I just want to go back because with Canadian media. So obviously the US Open is this weekend. I want to play a game with both of you because I think this was after Chris left last night I want to get you guys to let's play a game of over under of how many Canadian media do you think are heading or how many Canadian media are headed down to the US Open this weekend?
I'm going to say one.
5.
2.
That's
Bob
it?
Weeks, and there's another guy from the. I actually spoke to someone from the Sun. I don't remember who he was, but he just told me that it wasn't Simmons; it was someone else. He had to be at the airport for 5 this morning to get to Los Angeles, and I think he said, "Yeah, I think he was basically saying he thinks it was just him and Weeks going down for the U.S. Open for Canadian media."
That's That is so Canadian, right? It's so Canadian sports media. It's like,
Yeah.
let's just send down a couple idiots. And Bob Weeks is no idiot, by the way. I love the guy. And he was incredible too. He was emotional yesterday because he knows Nick Taylor. It was a beautiful moment for every golf broadcaster in Canada. Take nothing away from the people that were there to do the job. But my point is this, is that the outlets aren't like if I could, and I might just send you down to the U.S. Open this week, just so we could say we were there as well. Just so we could say we took care of that, because we want to bring people great coverage. But it just goes to show how poor Canadian media is, right? Like it's wild.
I saw some of the credentials from the foreplay guys for Barstool, and it's like official, like full like media with like a picture, your name, and your outlet on it, and it's also USGA. It's not PGA. So some of the pictures were funny, but it was the foreplay guys that were tweeting it because they're all down there, obviously. But it was just funny to see where it's just like how the credentials for the RBC Canadian Open differed from the U.S. Open, like how much money they put into that.
Yeah, I mean, look at the way the American media came up here to cover it, right? Barstool comes up here. They sent a bunch of guys from one of their podcasts. They do a great job.
I don't think they did, actually. I didn't see anyone from Barstool.
Oh, you didn't see anybody from Barstool?
The only thing was yesterday, I was wearing a Pink Whitney golf shirt, and a bunch of drunk people thought I worked for Barstool, and I was going to play along with it, but I was like, you know what? No, I'm going to rep the outlet that I'm here from. They weren't happy when they said Barstool, because I was getting barked at by drunk guys, basically being like, Barstool! I'm like, I'm not Barstool, dude. I just have the shirt.
Yeah, that's okay.
I was also getting barked at by drunk guys because I looked absolutely ridiculous. And Griff even said, when we were walking and everybody was looking, I said, do I look as ridiculous as I think I do? And he's like, yeah, absolutely.
A Hawaiian floral golf shirt he was wearing.
As the guy said on the score golf hole, he took his grandmother's drapes down and put them on his chest.
Oh,
so, and just back quickly to Steve Simmons. Yeah. This is my picture with him on the bus.
Oh, is that him up there?
Yeah.
It's crazy how he's sitting with all his friends. Yeah, Steve Simmons sitting with all the people he works with in sports media to think he's great at his job. There you go. That's a great picture. Yeah. So good. Like, how do you guys feel today? Because you shook the world this weekend with your coverage.
It feels really good. I got to have like a nice, not relaxing. Like I got to have a good day. I got to speak to George. I basically sent Chris Friday's video, which that'll be out tomorrow, folks. And then I'm just finishing up Saturdays. And then Sundays is I'm basically going to make Sundays my baby. I got to put a lot of time and effort into that one. That one will be up Wednesday. And then tomorrow, because like I was telling Dean earlier, and I told Chris on Thursday, the reason why I got to do all 4 days is because I got laid off. But you know what? When one door closes, one door opens, and they let me keep my benefits for about another month. So guess who's treating himself to a massage and only has to pay for a small fraction of it tomorrow? This guy right here.
Attaboy.
Yeah, that's thinking positively. That is a positive way to think, Griff, where you're like, I lost my job this week. Now keep in mind, you lost your job because of the writer's strike. You're in the film industry, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, I literally got back from Florida, and then I was pulled into a room, and I was told, yep, here are your papers. You know, it's a company restructuring, and then I was kind of looked at it from the beginning. I'm like, you know what? It is what it is. I can sit and mope and groan, but at the same time, too, I'm just like, something will come out of this. It's like, I'm always glass half full, but then to think that me having because say, even if I still had my current job, it would be me working like Thursday and Friday, and then only going for Saturday and Sunday. And then by the time I get there Saturday, it's kind of like I don't build the relationships I do. I don't have a lay of the land, or I don't know where to go or who to follow. But because of the fact I was there basically Thursday all day and Friday all day, I knew where to go. And like I was telling Dean before we went on air, and Chris, I basically had a revelation when I was driving home last night. I'm just like, I'm not meant to work on 9 to 5. This is what I'm meant to do. And I'm just looking forward to covering more and more for Crier. Like Chris sent me a list today of everything he wanted me to try to get passes for.
Yeah.
And I thought I could potentially, I'm like, you know what? I could put like the simple things on there, but I'm like, no, I'm shooting big. Like Chris will look at the list. There are some events I put on there where I'm like, I want to get there.
Well, Griff wants to play guitar on stage with Bruce Springsteen when he comes to the Rogers Center.
Was that on his list?
No, that wasn't on his list. But can you tell Griff works in the film industry from this absolute beauty of a shot from the weekend? Look at this stuff. This is from, first of all, this is from a phone.
Okay.
Nice and slow motion, too.
No, I mean, Griff, you crushed it. Like every video is like in focus. Every picture you took was great. The stuff you did. And by the way, what's your Twitter handle? Sorry, I don't have it here right now, but what is your Twitter handle?
People want to follow me on. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at Mr. Griff B on Twitter. Also Instagram as well. TikTok's different. That's Griff Sports Talk. But I still got the betting. Even though, look, sports covering's still there. The sports betting content's not going away. I did tell Chris this on Thursday that it may quiet down once the Cup final ends, just because I cannot stand betting on baseball. I suck at it. So I'd rather save my money, because NFL season and NHL season, the new ones are right around the corner. So
Yeah.
let's be profitable for the fall, folks. Let's see, take the summer, enjoy it.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll pop up here and there, but you know what? Fall's where we really get things going.
So you're not like a degen. You're not a degen.
No.
You're like
Oh, no,
very
God, no.
specific about what you bet on. Chris is a degen. He'll bet on anything. Like,
Well, I'm
seriously.
a degenerate in the sense of where I can look at a flashback to a game and remember what I bet on it, but I'm not the person that's like
you don't bet for the sake of betting. You need to bet on things that you understand and that you like, and you do not like or understand baseball as well as you understand other things. So that means you're not a degenerate. This is all great news.
Yeah,
Chris
like
is a degenerate.
Like me and my friend, me and one of my close friends, I'm gonna give him a quick shout out. His name's Andrew. Like, we go over stuff and we always look at the numbers and determine, like, hey, like, this is going here. A lot of it's gut feeling, but at the same time too, I'm not going to throw money down just for the sake of throwing money down. Like, I'm doing every game of the Cup final because it's the Cup. But I also do, when it comes to the actual dollar amounts, I've had people reach out to me and being like, oh, if you need a help out or this, and I tell them, I'm like, I'm betting like 10 or 20 bucks a game. I'm not like going cuckoo crazy. Like, I don't want to be that guy that's thousands of dollars in debt because the fucking Leafs lost game 5 of the Cup in the playoff, you know? Like, I basically make it so it's fun. And if I, like Saturday night, the parlay missed by a goal and I'm not there, like, it's not like, oh my God, I'm down $100. No, it's $10. Like, it's like you spent it, you lost it. It's kind of the same regret when you leave the ballet and people, I'm going to keep that word PG, but most men should know what I mean by that. It's like, you know, when you only spend a decent amount of money there.
You can say strip joint. You can say strip joint. Yeah. You're allowed. Yeah.
So say if you go to Zanzibar and you enjoy yourself a little too much.
Okay, you can't say Zanzibar. Right? No one goes to Zanzibar, dude. You got
no free plugs.
Upper Brass.
Okay, no free plugs.
Or like Spearmint Rhino. You can't pick Zanzibar.
Ooh,
I think Tuesdays at Zanzibar it's C-section night. So pick a different one.
Oh God, no. Yeah, it's like when you go to the strip club and you spend. It's like when you go and you only spend. Say if you get like a couple of dances as opposed to like the guy that's like spending $500 there. It's like, if you go, you enjoy yourself.
I love those guys. I don't go to those places anymore, but like when you're 19, 20, it's like, I love these. It's awesome. And the guys who always fascinated me were the guys who went in there with a kit, like a fanny pack with like, gel for their hands, like hand sanitizer, like a roll of loonies or toonies or fives, a phone. And then
the dude wearing sweatpants so he can't conceal a boner.
Yeah, totally. He's like, and here's the thing: they go in there and it's like, okay, this is my routine. I'm going to sit in pervert row, or as I like to call it, splash guard row, and then I'm going to get a girlfriend tonight. Like that's a degenerate. That is the same thing with Chris and gambling. He's like, I just bet 4 cricket games and I don't even understand how the game works. Like,
that's why I'm not heading up our gambling vertical. That's why
it's like the people who bet on like Russian table tennis or Korean baseball at like 4 o'clock in the morning because they needed to feel something. Or even I always never forget this, but I remember I had a buddy one time go in there and he got the girl's number. Yeah. And he's just like, I got the number. I got this girl's number. I'm gonna take her out to coffee. And I'm like, dude, she's just gonna try to lure you back here. You're a fucking idiot.
Yeah. Oh, dude. And those guys are like, no, she likes me. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
No, she's into me. I'm like, no, bro, she's getting paid to be into you.
Yeah. She came and sat with me and I got to buy her 5 drinks for $20 a drink. She's in love with me. We're getting married. Those guys. Yeah. That's Chris with gambling.
My parlay missed my Canadian Open parlay, Dean.
What did you miss? What did you have with the parlay?
Let's go into this.
I bet Tommy Fleetwood to win the Canadian Open.
Did you really?
And dude, I was conflicted on the 18th route. I said to Griff, I'm like, do I want the $250 or do I want to watch history? I was truly conflicted.
I was to the point where I was like, sorry, Chris, like the money would be nice. We could have gone to the keg afterwards, but I'm like, fuck it. I need to see history.
Yeah. Oh, dude. And it was like, I've been to these things. I've seen I don't know, I'm going to say 5 or 6 Sunday finishes. Like I was there for Weirzy when he lost to VJ. If you remember that, when VJ was like, oh, I'm so sorry.
2004, I think.
Yeah, I was there. I was like standing on the green for it. And I was like, wow, that's so awesome. He was so close. And, every year the Canadian Open goes, and every year you've got some Canadian Open players and Canadians that actually might be able to do it. Corey Connors is having another great year. Nick Taylor's there. I didn't see Taylor Pendrith or see him do anything. Adam Hadwin wasn't really in the mix, but at least we've got Canadians playing in the Canadian Open. Like back then, it was like, oh my God, like we had a Canadian win the Masters. This is incredible. Like, because Canadians never won anything back then. But to see that crowd literally go hockey crazy, which doesn't happen, right, at those events, and to see a Canadian win it, and to win it the way he did with a 72-foot eagle putt on the 4th playoff hole, while Tommy Fleetwood is missing left for the previous, like Tommy could have had that in the bag 2 or 3 holes before that. Like the playoff was his to lose. He sprays it on 18, and then Nick makes this incredible shot into the green, and literally, like you could feel the tension. I was watching the playoffs. You could feel the tension rise. It's just one of the most.
Griff's video too.
Yeah, is this your video, Griff?
Yeah, this is Griff's video.
What was that like? What was it like? How did you could you believe that happened? Because if you understand anything about golf, a 72-foot putt is not an easy putt. It is not a gimme.
It was also an eagle putt as well.
Yeah.
He got on the green in 2 and he drains that putt. That even Paul Jones, going back to him earlier, I said basically he looked at me and he's like, he could try that putt 100 times. He's only making it once. That is that's a 1 in 1,000, 1 in 100,000 putt. That's what that was. But when the moment happened, honestly, it was a moment of like it's like some, like he said, you blacked out for like half a second because you're just like in shock of what you just saw. It's like the closest thing, I remember back in April what I did when I saw Tavares score the OT winner against the Leafs. I remember Crosby's golden goal, but this one was like, Kawhi's shot where it's just the disbelief of it going in, the bounce in the bucket. It's just that mix of, I can't believe he just did it. He won. Holy shit. I'm pretty sure Rookie said he slapped Duthie on the ass. I high-fived Duthie. And then after that is when we all just stormed the green. And then you had the influx of people like rushing up. And then you had Golf Canada and security just spreading all over, which most of the security guards were nice all weekend long. The guy I spoke to was a 30-year cop veteran who now works for SIU. So that's another thing. And one other thing about this, by the way, I think I told Chris, but I'm not sure if Dean knows this yet. The volunteers who volunteer at the tournament have to pay like $150 to volunteer for the week.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they want people who know the game of golf. Think about it. They're not just going to let some random person come in who doesn't know anything about golf, because there's certain things to do when it comes to the flags and the sticks and everything like that. And besides, most of the volunteers were retired too to begin with. There's only a few of them, I think, that were under the age of I want to say 55.
Yeah,
Jesus.
They were, and they were basically the nicest people too. That's the
so
thing.
They paid $150 just so they could work for free. Is it the?
Yep.
Well, that's incredible.
You just have to be nice to these people too, because I feel like some of the legacy media is not as nice to the volunteers and to the people and the people that make it go. So me and Griff,
that's the narrative we're running with. Yeah,
we're going to be as nice to them as possible. Say thank you.
Yeah,
ask them how they're doing. You be nice.
Quite a coup. RBC probably spends $20 million on that thing. You got a bunch of other people making money on that thing, and the volunteers, they're making.
Gotta pay. Pay. And this is a story actually that I was saving for the pod and didn't tell you in the pre-chat, Dean. Griff can back me up on this. Rory McIlroy's shot basically hit me on the 18th green.
It touched you?
He sailed it over, and it literally split my shoulder and smoked the back behind me. And everybody was like, ooh. I was like, what just happened? I had to look under me to see if the ball was under my ass.
Oh, seriously? You almost got pegged.
Me and Rory, we're like this, man.
Yeah, no, he loves you. There he is. There's
Rory. That's the shot he took.
Were the golfers nice? You run into any 8-hole golfers, or was everybody pretty cool?
Everybody's really cool.
didn't get talked about. Even this is the other story too. After Taylor left the presser stage, a bunch of people went up to him and started shaking his hand. So I just stuck my nose and said, "Hey, congratulations again." And he was very nice. He was just over the moon, euphoric. Like, just, I think for everyone, it was still one of those feelings of sinking in. And then the vibes in the media tent after the event was done was just good vibes all around.
Oh, dude, it was one of those, you know, as far as moments go, in Canadian history, you kind of touched on it earlier in the start of the podcast, and I know you got a split, so we'll let you go, Griff, and we'll clam it here. And I think that's a as far as
I got another 10 minutes.
Okay,
actually.
okay. Good. Well, we'll start wrapping it up then. Thanks, dude. As far as moments go in Canadian sports history, not many like that. Like, you know, the way that it happened, fourth playoff hole, 72-foot putt for Eagle to win at home in front of Canadians. Number one. Number two, we've never had a stronger field of Canadian golfers. So that's good news, right? 69 years from the last time a Canadian won the Canadian Open till yesterday when Nick Taylor drained that putt and walked off the green a champion. And it was considered a major for years, right? The Canadian Open was one of those tournaments everybody wanted to go to. Lost some panache over the past few years, and they've had to rearrange the schedule. And a lot of bigs would miss that tournament, but we had a bunch of bigs at this tournament, right? Even though we didn't have some show up. I don't know if it was the Live Golf merger. Maybe you guys are trying to figure that out. I didn't see DJ in the crowd, but at the same time, you know, it is up there. It's up there with Weirsy's Master. It's up there with Sid's goal. It's up there with some of the greatest moments in Canadian sports history, right? And Nick Taylor, to that point, is now that guy, and I heard him talking about it yesterday. He's now that guy that everybody's going to, you know, kids at the age of 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 are going to emulate on a green on 18 when they finish, and he's going to inspire a whole new generation of people. And that, like, I heard someone talk to him about that in the presser. Maybe you were there for that too, Griff. I'm not sure. And he kind of mentioned, he's like, it was mind blowing to him that he's that guy. That's how special that whole thing was, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's just it. Like, he admitted how special it was and everything like that. That's the big takeaway from everything that he said yesterday. Just knowing, look, he was also asked too about, like, where does it rank up there with, like, Crosby's goal and everything, which, look, Nick, no, I don't want to throw disrespect him, but Crosby's goal is still number one to me just because of the weight of it. But this is something that Canadian golf history, people will remember Nick Taylor as the man who won the Canadian Open in Canada as a Canadian. And as for the field, I feel like with the U.S. Open being this week, I think that does take away from some of the big golfers. But I feel like next year in Hamilton and Ancaster, it'll probably bring some back, especially because the U.S. Open next year, I think, is in Pinehurst, so it's a much shorter flight from Toronto to North Carolina as opposed to going from Toronto to L.A. The other thing I'll say too is, which was funny during the broadcast, was Chris. I'll let Chris take this because when we were going back to the Girls from Golf Channel.
Yeah.
Of the shots they were showing of Toronto on the broadcast versus to the area we were surrounding and the area they saw too.
Yeah, it was that basically what I alluded to from the beginning. Is they're like, wow, that's like the nicest. They were showing the skyline with blue skies, and they're like, where's that? I was like, that's downtown Toronto. as we're at Downsview Airport,
like the Queen's Key, basically.
It's like, oh yeah, and it's like pissing rain outside, and it's gross. And they're like, here's a beautiful Toronto. You're like, that's not today. That's not here. That's nowhere near us.
And the Golf Channel girl, her producer, was like, how far is that? And I'm like, probably about 45 minutes, 50 minutes away. But like, they're doing the panning shot of the CN Tower on Queen's Key. They're going right to the green. I'm like, that's not real. It's nowhere near where we are.
Yeah. Nowhere near us. And they can't, because that golf course, I believe, is in a different part of town. It's a nice way to say it.
Jane Wilson.
Yeah. It's
here's
the thing. Let me just kind of clue everybody listening out there in podcast land or watching this on YouTube or on Twitch. Let me just clue you into something. Jane and Wilson is a rough area. And so they're not going to go outside that golf course and go, let's go down to the coffee time and catch a burglary and process. Like, they're going to show the CNN version of the city, like beautiful downtown, but it's all a trick. It's all a trick. And I kind of dig it. I really do.
Can't wait for Hamilton next year when it's like, here's beautiful Barton Street and the Barton Street jail.
Sundowners.
Here is a couple of crackheads outside of Cops Coliseum in a tent.
Yeah, what are they going to show? They're just going to show like cut shots of Niagara Falls. That's it. Like, there's nothing else. It's like, hey, let's show Niagara Falls and then just cut right back to the golf course, please.
Here's
the Hamilton.
Here's the Burlington Skyway. Yeah, it's Hamilton Country Club, which I think is more Ancaster, but I feel like it's like the same thing. It's like saying Toronto, North York.
All right.
The one I was at. Even if you were home, we wouldn't have been able to get you to Jane and Wilson, Dean.
Yeah, even if that thing was in my backyard, I probably just watched it from my window. Which is, I know it's very privileged of me, and I'm not a privileged person. Like, and you know that, Chris. You know me really, really well. And it's not about being around the privilege. I was just sitting in first class on a flight back from Portugal eating ice cream. So I don't want to. I don't want to be around the privileged people. I was just by myself in the front of an airplane eating free food, getting people to bring me more anything. So yeah, I'm not a privileged guy.
I will say this, though, there were a few nice houses that surrounded the golf course, but besides that, it's more like this is more like towards 14, like towards like closer to the 400. But yeah, the area I saw the corner of Jane and Wilson Friday night, and there were like full on Mormons there, and the people, Jesus is coming, be prepared, like those people, and like a woman who was wearing like a tube top and like basically 2-inch shorts that should not have been wearing that outfit.
Hater? What are you, a hater? You don't like naked girls? What's your problem?
No. It's basically
it's quality. It was a quality issue. Yeah, okay.
Quality, not that. No. Basically, it's just it was a very fascinating area to hold the golf tournament, considering if they had gone to St. George's again this year, St. George's, it's like $2 million homes surrounding the entire course and not borderline crack houses.
Community housing.
Hole number 3 just smelled of weed the entire tournament. And I said, someone's having fun. And Griff's like, that's not from inside the fence. That's from outside the fence.
There were people watching from outside the fence on too. I don't know if you saw that yesterday, Chris.
People were just hopping the fence, getting within 4 feet of Rory. Well, yeah, listen, the people that live in that area, they're not much for boundaries. So, like, if someone sees a fence, they're like, whatever, I'm going over it. Can't get any better or worse. Yeah. So
the best too is, as you see the golfing, you just see you can see onto Jane Street, and you see just like the traffic, and then you see like the TTC buses that are just going by.
Oh my God. Well, guys, you did a great job. And it was awesome to have you at the RBC Canadian Open this year. Griff, Rookie are men on the street. And if you need any information, what you need to do is go to crier.co. Follow at Mr. Griff B. Don't worry about following Ricky because he doesn't care about that
Ricky.
Stuff. Yeah. That's right. Don't worry about following Ricky. He doesn't care. And go to crier.co. Follow Griff on Twitter. He's an excellent follow. You can get your sports betting there. You can also get the incredible content that he put out all weekend long at the Crier Media on Twitter or at its Dean Blundell as well. But go and follow this man, Griff. You did a wonderful job this weekend. Excellent work. Griff, I'm going to call you tomorrow, and we'll get the whole thing moving. I think we want to send you to the U.S. Open. I think we're going to do that. I think you need to prep. Is your passport cool? Your passport's all right?
I got Nexus. I'm good to go.
Oh, you got the Nexus? I got the Nexus.
It's a lifesaver. For anyone out there, get it. I know they say only for frequent travelers. No, get it. It will save you so much time and stress at the airport.
Oh, absolutely. I get in that lineup and I feel great about myself. I see the people lining up, sweating. They got baby strollers. I'm like, doop, 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 tap, tap, doop, 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 doop. And I walk in and you avoid the line. The customs guy's like, we trust you.
Yeah.
Go ahead. And I'm like, yeah, you do.
It's basically the difference between waiting like 5 minutes to waiting like 50 minutes at security.
Oh, yeah, totally. And then you get on a flight and you drink some tea out of a chalice because you're in first class. It's the best.
It's the same mentality as the 407.
You take it because everybody else has to pay for it. No one wants to pay for it. Same thing. Griff, Chris, great job. Talk to you soon. Follow these gentlemen at Mr. Griff B. Don't follow Ricky. He doesn't care. Great to see you guys. And thank you, everybody, for watching. We had to do a special podcast on one of the greatest sports moments, and I wanted to get kind of behind it. It was really cool. And I'm telling you, you got to follow Griff. Don't worry about following Ricky. He doesn't care. But give Griff a follow at Mr. Griff B, at the Crier Media. Everything we do is at criermedia.co or crier.co, crier.ca, CRIER, not CRYER, Crier, and check out the entire weekend from the RBC Canadian Open. Congratulations to Nick Taylor. Piece of Canadian history that we had a big part in sharing with people, and that's what we do here. Have a great day. I want to thank everybody for being a part of the show, including Kivlaw Defense Attorneys. If you're looking for a great defense attorney, Southern Ontario's best, go to kivlaw.ca for more details, or email Robert. Doesn't matter what you did. He wants to get you out of it, or at least help you understand what you did so you don't do it again. Robert at kivlaw.ca. Also, Cantork, Canada's assembly tool experts. My friend Colin Livingston, part of the Tagliani race team. He's got his own cart. One of the greatest videos. He's got a great article on what he did this weekend, too. The dude is part of a racing team in the Pinty's NASCAR series. He also assembles Canada's best tools. At Cantork, they make rugged, hard-working, beautiful torque wrenches. Canada's leading industrial tool experts, offering you the very best sales, service, rental, calibration, maintenance, custom fab of industrial torque tools, no matter the scale of your bolting project. They have your solution. Go to cantork.com today for more. Heavy machinery, forestry, in the steel industry, it doesn't matter. Nuclear industry, if you've got a fastening or loosening issue, you got a bolt that you can't get off, or you want to get that thing off and you can't, these are your guys. Go to cantork.com for more information today. And of course, Gitch. The show is brought to you by Ed's Fine Imports and his Gitch, luxury branded underwear engineered for any level of performance is everyday life. Buy 3, get 1 free. Use code GITCH3 at checkout, and they are made for all the things you do during the day. Walk, run, sprint, maybe a little yoga. You can sit there in a nice suit, feel really good about yourself. They got the pouch in the front, luxury branded underwear, Gitch engineered for any level of performance. Ed's Fine Imports. When you check out, use GITCH3, Gitch, and then the number 3. That is your promo code. Have a great day, everybody. Appreciate you being here. We will be back on Wednesday. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Good pace. Are you serious? Oh, my goodness! Glorious and free. We're storming the 18th green now. They just tackled Adam Hadwin, by the way, who was trying to approach his friend.